Hey, good morning. It's Dr. James. I do hope and pray this message finds you and your loved ones peaceful, thriving, and well. So this morning, I want to share something with you that I think you're going to go, oh my goodness, that just dropped into my heart. It made me think, it made me feel, it made me just want to go, okay, I need to consider how I am leading my life. And I need to consider how I'm filtering what's going on outside of my life. This is like the great work right now. Right? There's so much going on around us. And I'm a big believer that in order to create a life that you love, you got to have your inner atmosphere create the outer weather, and not the outer weather create your inner atmosphere. A number of decades ago, I read for the very first time a very, very old quote by a mystic, an Eastern mystic, whose name was Krishnamurti. You may have heard of him. Phenomenal thinker, phenomenal just human being, a representation of light and spirit. And he once said that it is no mark of genius to be well-adjusted to a profoundly sick society. One more time. It is no mark of genius to be well-adjusted to a profoundly sick society. When I first read this, and this is 30 some odd years ago, I was like, oh my goodness, does that just sober me deeply when I think in terms of how it is that I do not want to be a part of status quo thinking, when status quo thinking may be about marginalizing and dehumanizing others. And I started thinking about it again this morning about how it is that with social media and digital platforms, it's so easy to get into tribal thinking. It's so easy to acquiesce, to average, just get in within this status quo thinking and just kind of go along for the ride. When we know deep in our hearts, that's not what we're here to do. I do not want you, and I do not want myself to be well adjusted to what's going on in the world. There's so many things in the world that are beautiful, and there's so much hope all around us. But it seems like more and more we got to look harder to find it. Or maybe we are the ones that have to be more courageous in actually helping others to see it. Think about that. What if we were to be living our lives with such a depth of spiritual integrity? Let me just unpack that. Spiritual integrity, meaning that you know the truth of who you are. You know what makes you come alive. You know that your deep knowing about spiritual grace and the way that you want to show up in your life is dependent on whether or not you will make good on those daily good intentions to be the beneficial presence on the planet that you came here to be. And in that experience, you know. And what we know through science telling us about things like emotional contagion and how it is that when we see people who are outsiders, people who live a little eccentricity, the ones who are not part of status quo, the ones who are on the outside, you go, oh my gosh, that's a beautiful human being. I just love the way she is leading her life. Maybe, just maybe, that is something I'd like to align with. Maybe that is something that makes me feel more hopeful and more possible. Maybe that's what Krishnamurti was asking us all to consider decades and decades ago. To be a genius this day, today, maybe means that we get an opportunity to ask ourselves, if I was not to align with many of the things in society that I know are absolutely not right, unjust, fully not in alignment with the truth, and I was to leave that status quo, I was to depart from that groupthink, and I was to be the one that people laid eyes on and go, that's beautiful, that's hopeful, that's spiritual, that's integritous, that's human potential, that's awareness, that's just awesome. And you became that for someone else today. And then over time, because of emotional contagion and the way that people start to transform when they lay eyes on hope, we get a chance to actually disrupt. We become agents for civil disobedience. Because on some level, what we're seeing mostly in a lot of civic silos and tribal thinking is that there's a lot of us versus them. What if we decided that our living, our demonstration, intrinsically motivated, deep from inside our heart, bigger than us, so the ego gets dropped away, we just decided to be heroic in our loving, heroic in our living, and heroic in our aliveness. So, whoever did see you said, I want to align with that. That is just the opposite of a profoundly sick society. That is a human being who's decided to be the truth, their truth, and own it full out. So, their living became a demonstration of possibility. How awesome is it right now to consider your life being a demonstration of possibility in disrupting status quo, truly disrupting mediocrity, being a demonstration of what it means to be fully awake and on fire with purpose and passion. Thank you, Krishnamurti. Thank you for coming back to this morning for me, to help me wake up and decide I don't want to align with a lot of what's going on. I want to align with what could be going on. And I know you do too. So with that, much love, all blessings. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.